Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
So my question is about how to balance my logical mind with my emotional mind.
Yeah.
Because I seem to
IQ with EQ.
I seem to get out of balance either.
You seem to?
Yeah.
Or do you choose to? Which way feels more self-empowered?
Choosing.
Because if you're choosing to be out of balance, at least you know you're in control of that and can change it. When you say, well, I seem to be, you're giving up your power to some random concept that doesn't allow you to know that there is any probability of really changing that. So the first step in changing it is to admit and take responsibility for having chosen it, because then you're in power to change it. Now, you may not know why you chose it, that's fine. But it will be in your unconscious mind somewhere a definition that made it seem logical to choose that. That's what we have described before as the motivational mechanism within all of you. This is a given law. You will always, always, always move in the direction of what you believe to be in your best interest. You will always immediately and automatically move away from what you believe is not in your best interest. So if you can see yourself choosing things that you know are not in your best interest, and you understand the motivational mechanism we've just described, that can only mean that you must be making what is in your best interest seem to not be, or what is not in your best interest seem to be. That's the only reason you would choose something that's not in your best interest, is you have a definitional belief attached to it that makes it seem to be better than the alternative. You understand? Because if people, for example, are afraid to move ahead on their excitement because they have a belief that something bad will happen to them, and they believe that not moving is a safer bet, they will stay where they are. They will keep choosing the safer bet because they have attached to their excitement a negative definition of the outcome. So you'll avoid it at all costs. When you realize that that may be the kind of definition you've attached to it, you will realize that doesn't make sense. It's illogical. And as soon as you realize there's no reason to attach a negative definition to your excitement, then that definition is gone. And you can start choosing things that you know are in your best interests. Because you will have cleared out the definitions that would make it seem otherwise. Is this making some sense?
It is making some sense.
Can you apply it to any specific definitions within you that would allow you to choose things you know are not necessarily in your best interest?
I guess I would have to become more conscious of all my choices.
I guess so. Well, let me ask you this question, because again, this is usually the one for your people that will typically, not always, but typically reveal what the definition is, the fear-based definition is. And the question is, if you were to actually move forward on your passion in life, what are you afraid might happen? What are all the reasons you create for yourself to not move in the direction of your preference, of your excitement, of your passion?
Running out of money.
Running out of money. Oh, all right. Are you saying that that's not an exciting thing? It could be. It could be the best thing that ever happened to you. How do you know?
That's a good point.
Thank you.
It could be.
You see, this goes back to what we say about your definitions, because we understand how things work on your world in general. But the idea is that many of you become way too focused on one particular way in which things work when there are other ways. And you're not allowing your definition to be broad enough to include the other ways. When you focus only on one symbol of abundance, such as money, not invalidating it, not discounting it at all, but it's only one symbol. There are other symbols of abundance, other symbols of support. But when you only focus on one as if that's the most important one, you are closing the doors through which other forms of support and abundance could come, because you're saying you won't recognize them. If it's not this, I can't be supported. I don't understand how I could possibly be supported if it doesn't come in this form. That's a very limiting and restrictive belief system. But when you understand that abundance is simply one of the natural tools of excitement, and it will bring you whatever form of abundance and support you need to continue to act on your excitement, then you can relax your definition and open all the windows and doors and let abundance come in all its forms. Sometimes somebody may just give you something. That's a form of abundance, you know. Yes?
Yes.
Sometimes synchronicity will bring you information that you need at exactly the right time. That's a form of abundance, you know.
Yes.
So why not let more forms of abundance come into your life rather than worrying that you might lose one particular form?
That
Yes?
sounds like a good idea.
Well, I thank you. The idea is that if money needs to be there, then the right amount of money will come, but it may not be sufficient to allow for the big picture, but the rest of the other forms of abundance will fill the other spaces. So that sometimes it may be, well, you just need this much money, and you need this much gift, and you need this much synchronicity, and all together, you've got your support. If it needs to be all money, that's what will come, because that will be the path of least resistance. But your first clue that it might not be the path of least resistance is it's not coming. That's your moment to look around and go, could there be other forms of abundance that I could allow in? That's where your imagination opens up. Because when you're on the level of the vibration of your passion, you will actually be capable of thinking, of imagining other things that might bring other forms of abundance in. But if you're only focused on one form, you are actually not only closing the door to other forms of abundance, you're closing the doors in your imagination to being even capable of imagining how other forms of abundance could come to you. So you will not even conceive of opportunities you could be acting on that could give you everything you need, because you will not allow them to be visible, because you're not in the correct frequency. You cannot perceive what you're not the vibration of first. This is just physics. You have to be that frequency first. And when you are, all sorts of things that are commensurate with that frequency will come to you. You'll think of things. Other people might call the things you imagine crazy, but that doesn't mean they won't work for you. They don't have to work for them. They just need to work for you. Is this making some sense?
Definitely.
Is this helping?
A lot.
All right. Anything else?
So do you think it would be wise to just follow my highest excitement and not be concerned with societal expectations?
Let me think about that for a moment. Please understand this. The philosophies you think are what you're hearing are not philosophies. We're actually giving you, literally, an instruction manual for how reality works. We're literally giving you formulas. You follow?
Yes.
It is no different when we say, act on your highest passion every moment that you can, to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further, with zero insistence or assumption as to what the outcome ought to be. That is literally an energy formula. It is physics. It's an instruction manual. It will activate everything you need. It will leave nothing out. It will give you all the tools in the kit of excitement, because it's a complete kit, and nothing relevant will be left out. And all you have to do is remain in a positive state no matter what happens, and you will get the beneficial effect. This is an instruction manual, absolutely no different at all than if someone gave you an instruction manual to operate a piece of machinery, to learn how to drive one of your automobiles. You would say, the instructions say, find the key. Oh, this must be the key. There's a picture of it. Yes, looks just like it. Put it in the slot called the ignition. Oh, all right. Put it in. Turn it this way. Turn it this way. The engine will start. Yes, I hear it started. Now, step on the brake. Step on the brake. That's that one according to the instruction manual. Put the car in gear. Okay, that must mean this thing here. And now step on the gas. The car should move. Oh, yes, it's doing that. Why is it doing all of that? Because I followed the instruction manual. Simple as that. What we are giving you is literally a description of how reality works. It's literally an instruction manual. So if you actually do it as precisely as you can, like you would for any instruction manual, you will see that reality is already working. The instruction manual we're giving you doesn't mean it's not working. The instruction manual we're giving you is giving you an opportunity to experience that it already works in a positive way for you instead of a negative way. Because synchronicity is always working, but you can experience negative synchronicity or positive synchronicity. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, if you really understand that this is an instruction manual and you just follow the instructions just as you would with any machine, you will see it's that simple. It works. Does that help?
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
It does. Can I ask one more question?
That was a question. You want to ask another one?
One more.
Yes?
What if you follow the instruction manual and follow your highest excitement and you end up in a less than preferable state?
Thank you for bringing that up. You see, this, as you have just said it, is the absolute crux of the issue that all of you have difficulty with. When you say, if I follow my excitement, what if something less than exciting happens? What you have to realize is what you've just said is not a definition of excitement. It's a different definition. You follow me? To say, I am acting on my excitement, but something can happen that's not representative of my excitement is not a definition of your excitement. By definition, when you are in your excitement, nothing can happen that you don't find exciting, even if it's what you don't prefer. You find it exciting because you know that to stay in that state means you will extract the benefit from it. So to say something bad can happen when I'm acting in my excitement, when I'm in my state of excitement, is an oxymoron. It's a contradictory definition. It's not a definition of excitement. It's a definition of a completely different reality experience. The reality experience of, I think I'm acting on my excitement, but I find out I'm not. That's the definition you just gave me. It's not a definition of excitement. So that's why it's so important to be clear about your definitions. Your definitions have to be purely representative of the state that we're talking about, or they're not that state. Your definitions will be only commensurate with whatever state is reflective of the definition you're creating. And that's a different state and a different reality experience altogether. Yes?
Yes.
Is that making some sense?
Yes. I guess what happened is I followed my excitement and then I
Didn't get what you preferred.
didn't get what I preferred.
But why should you? That's what I'm saying. You see, when we talk again about acting on your passion, it has to be done for its own sake, not because of what you think is supposed to happen. Because as I said, sometimes you will get things that objectively, neutrally, you may recognize are not things you prefer. But you have to know it's there for a positive reason if you're actually in a positive state. If you don't know it's there for a positive reason, you're not in a positive state.
I understand.
You have to know that no matter how it looks, no matter how it was created, no matter what anyone else's opinion is about it, you, by staying in a positive state, can only extract a positive and beneficial effect from that circumstance, from that manifestation. The bottom line is, it doesn't matter what happens. It only matters what you do with what happens. That's what matters. Matter. That's what matters. The circumstance doesn't create the material. The state of being does. Is this making sense?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. We'll see.
We will. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It is allowing oneself to have a deeper understanding of the term authenticity. Being your authentic self. What does that mean? Being true to yourself, being in alignment with yourself, your true signature frequency, of course. But it also means, really, as you say, putting it out there, really acting on your passion. The idea is that you have chosen to have a physiological experience, a physiological lifespan. That physiological lifespan plays out according to the theme and themes you have chosen to explore. And it is up to you to decide how you will explore them. Now, we are not saying that you cannot have an authentic life, have an extraordinary life, by being in a state of balanced peace. Of course you can. It doesn't mean that when we say it is important to act in your life, that you have to be running all over the world. You can be stable, peaceful, balanced in one location for the entire lifespan, if you wish. If that is true for you, really true. However, we recognize that because of the thousands of years of fears that have existed on your planet, that have embedded within many of you in your culture, your society, in your upbringing, the idea of definitions of diminishment, definitions of devaluation, definitions of the experience of disconnection, that many of you will not necessarily be acting as fully as you could be, will not allow yourselves to be your authentic beings. And now is the time to change that. As has been said, you know you are going through a transformation in this day and age. You know that it is about the idea of letting go of the things that are not you and incorporating the things that are, in the most profound, most artistically creative and expressive way possible. It is about getting out there and doing it, not holding back, not hesitating to be yourselves, your authentic selves. It is about being bold, adventurous, courageous, confident, curious, imaginative, excited, interactive, expressive, not holding back the gifts that you have to give, not depriving others of those gifts. Because while you may feel from time to time that you are seeking and searching for things, others also are seeking and searching for what you have to share, for what you have to give, for the expression of your true authentic self. When more and more and more of you are really allowing that authentic self to come to the forefront and to stand tall and to stand firm with your feet firmly planted on the ground and your consciousness raised to the heavens so that you stand in between that balance point of heaven and earth, as you say. And you allow yourself in that state of being, in that state of certainty, to really know it's all right, to really know it is your purpose, to really know that you can act, put forth, give out that gift, express that gift. And there will always, always, always be a reflection from those that have been seeking what you have to give. It may not come in the form you expected, but the unexpected is to be expected in your lives from this point forward. Allow yourselves to be prepared to turn left and turn right in unexpected ways, to go up, to go down, to go forward, to go back in unexpected ways. Follow the flow of the path of least resistance, no matter how it may wind, no matter how it may twist and turn through your life. For those twists and those turns are your trips, your adventures, your processes, your explorations, your discoveries of more of yourself. And were they not essential to understanding the fullness of your being, those twists and turns would not exist in the path that you are. They are there for a purpose. They are there for a reason. They are there to help you authenticate yourself, validate yourself, get reflections and reinforcements of the true being that you are for as you put that out there, you will always get the reinforcement and reflection and support of creation that this is who you say you are. Creation will never contradict you, ever. It is not designed to do that. It is designed to support you unconditionally in whatever you say is your truth, and whatever you say is true for you, if it really is in alignment with your signature frequency. Always in living an extraordinary life, always, too, must you incorporate the idea of balance, gratitude, grace, appreciation, and always take the time, always take a pause, and always take a moment to make sure that you are being truly authentic, that you are not disguising your anxiety as excitement, not burying the idea of definitions that you are too afraid to look at, because you are afraid that if you go diving down to look at, to examine, and to explore and investigate those negative beliefs you may have about yourself, many of you may be too afraid to find out that if you go exploring, you will discover that those negative beliefs are actually true. I guarantee you they will never be true. They will never be true. For you are a co-creator. You are made in the image of creation. You are what gives life meaning. You are the reflection of the all that is exploring its unique self. And this idea of your extraordinary life and the authenticity is all based on the concept of your unique perspective. You are the only one of your kind. You will ever be the only one of your kind. And no matter how many other simultaneous, incarnational existences you may cross-connect to from the present, there will always only be one of you. You will always only have this one life to live as you. So live it to the fullest. Allow it to be what you designed it to be. Work in harmony, work in concert with your higher mind. For your soul being has, in a sense, set itself up as a duality and a trinity by creating the split of the non-physical higher mind and the physical mind, and the balance point in between. You function on all three levels simultaneously, and by allowing there to be that balance between the two, allowing the relationship between the physical and the higher mind to work smoothly, to let each other do the jobs you were designed to do, to support each other, to reflect to each other what it is you were designed to support and reflect, you will be functioning as a whole being, as a whole person, as your authentic self, as your adventurous self, as your extraordinary self. Any time that you only allow your physical mind to control everything, to manipulate everything, thinking that is the only way to allow yourself to experience your self-empowerment, that it is the only way to allow your life to fall into place, anytime you allow only the physical mind to do that, you are functioning as a half person, not a whole being. In truth, in a sense, without the higher mind, the physical mind is literally a half-wit. So use all your wits. Use them the way they were designed to be used. Rely on the higher mind. It is standing on the mountaintop. It can see farther than the physical mind. It can see where you're going. It can see the path you are. The physical mind down in the valley is wandering to and fro, going around this outcrop and that outcrop, going down into that valley, crossing this river and that river, or that ocean and this ocean. And it can only see so far. It can only see to the physical horizon. But the higher mind is on the mountaintop. It can be all the way out into space, and it can look far beyond and guide you unerringly if you are willing to allow it to do so. And this is the point that we have discussed about your visualization of your life, your authentic life, your extraordinary life. It is absolutely, profoundly helpful to have that vision in your mind, that symbol in your physical mind of what represents to you that extraordinary life. Seeing yourself in all the places in the world that excite you. Seeing yourself clearly, viscerally, doing all the things in your life that you say are representative of your highest joy and your passion. applying that and watching yourself thrive, watching yourself be creative, watching that version of you live a life of ecstasy and joy and calm and peace and contentment and confidence. But the idea, again, is that your higher mind, and only your higher mind, knows exactly what that's really going to look like, how that's really going to physically manifest. So by using the symbol to get yourself amped up into a state of excitement, because if you really connect to that visualization, you will feel like that is you. You will start to mirror, to mimic, to match the vibration, the body language, the actions, the choices that that version of you in that visualization is doing. You will behave like that version of you more and more and more. The more you key into it, the more you have that visualization. But that's just for the purpose of getting you to start behaving like that you, to exist in the state of being of that version of you, to feel the excitement and passion and peace and balance that exists within that version of you. And as soon as you feel that, as soon as it rises, as soon as it fulfills you, as soon as you radiate that frequency and you feel you're going to burst at the seams, you're so excited about that visualization of the ideal reality, the ideal, authentic, adventurous, extraordinary life. Drop it. Erase it. Blank it. Zero. Flatten it out and go into the void, but keep the excited state. And then hand over that energy to your higher mind and let it take that energy and lay it out like a blanket upon the landscape and let it show you what things need to now come to you, in what order, in what way, in what fashion, at what timing, with whom it is attendant, how it expresses itself. Perhaps it may look similar to what you visualize. Perhaps it will look nothing like it. But know for a fact that what it brings you next when you're in that state, if you stay in that state, will be exactly the thing you need for your extraordinary life, for the life to continue to be experienced in an extraordinary way. You are all capable of living your version of an extraordinary life. You all have it within you. And it's just an issue of letting it out. Letting that vibration leak into the world so that by example of living that life, you allow other people to see in your example that you are so ecstatic, living that extraordinary, adventurous, curious, imaginative, and creative, loving, passionate life, that they will come to you in droves. How did you do this? How are you living this way? How is this working for you? This is who I want to be. And you will inspire. And by your example, you will support their opportunity to have more option, to choose an extraordinary life themselves. Ignite each other. On your planet, in the practice and understanding known as Zen, they have an image that is exactly representative of what we are speaking of here. And it is the candle flame. Imagine this now. You are a candle, and you have lit your flame, and you are surrounded by unlit candles. As you take your candle, you can light all the other candles. Your flame never diminishes, but all the other candles ignite. And that flame grows and it spreads into 1,000, 100,000, 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000 flames of their own. By the first flame, by your willingness to shine that inner light outwardly, do you give them an opportunity to take their candle and match the frequency of your joy and ignite their own candle, ignite their own flame, to allow that single flame to turn into billions of flames? At least the opportunity. Should some candles choose not to match that vibration, allow them their choice unconditionally. That is also part of your authenticity, part of your extraordinary life, to be so allowing, so unconditionally allowing, that others who may make choices that you can see clearly are out of alignment with their true selves. It doesn't mean you condone it for yourself. It doesn't mean you gloss it over. It doesn't mean you don't recognize that it may be a negative energy choice. But you also understand that even though some may always choose a negative idea and not have a deep understanding of the positive energy being offered to them, because of their own fear-based definitions, they may not know what to do with that. They may not know how to behave in alignment with that. They may choose negative behavior, even as a result of being exposed to the idea of a positive vibration. And you can recognize that and have the compassion to wish them well. You can share with them that they have alternatives, but should they choose not to take them, be unconditionally allow them to find their own way. You cannot force anything on anyone, for if you do, all you're saying is you don't believe in the power of what you believe in yourself. For the greatest power requires the lightest, gentlest touch. Look at all that is. It is so powerful, you hardly feel it at all. That's how powerful it is. It does not have any need to force itself upon you. God's will is your will, because you are all that is. If the idea of all that is forced its will upon you, it would be contradicting the creation that you are within it. You are created to be who you are as a reflection, as an experience of all that is. You are made of all that is. We are made of all that is. Everything is made from all that is. What need does it have to exercise its will on itself? The reason you say that God, Goddess, all that is omnipotent. The reason you say it is omnipresent and omniscient, the only way that can actually be possible is if it is everywhere, because it is everything in existence. So it does not contradict itself. You are the aspect you are for a reason. And without you, all that is would not be all that is. Cherish that uniqueness. Cherish that authenticity. Cherish that ability to express the unique point of view that you are. Cherish it. Don't ignore it. Don't damp it down. Don't deny it. Let it free. Let it out. Let it be the shining light that helps ignite a billion candles. And then your world will be alight with flame of creation. You will ignite the passion within yourselves simply by your proximity, simply by your enthusiasm, simply by your passion. For you all know that when you see someone so inspired, so passionate, you know you can feel the passion rising within you to match that frequency in your own way, to be inspired by them and to be your own version of that idea that they are expressing so passionately, so fervently, so creatively, so beautifully, so joyfully in their lives. Let your imagination run free. It is the conduit of communion between you and the higher mind. Express it in action because you are grounded in physical reality experience. And without that action, without that physical action, you haven't completed the circuit. Don't just be a spectator. Be involved. Be active. Put it out there. Some may not listen, but some will. And then others will listen to them. And others will listen to them. And others will listen to them. And so the perspective will shift and change. And as you then continue to shift billions of times per second through a multitude of parallel Earth realities, more and more and more and more, you will find yourself on course, shifting in the direction of the parallel versions of Earth that are more reflective, more representative of the changes you have made within yourself, and that will ultimately be the only versions of Earth you will experience. That is the path you are on. That is the direction you are taking. Were it not so, we would not be having these conversations with you. For not only does creation not make pointless creations, thus validating your very existence, we also only do what excites us the most, and we also don't do pointless things. Having these conversations with you, having first contact with your world, excites us beyond our ability to express, for you are family. And by forming these connections and allowing these connections, we are family growing together, expanding beyond what either of us can imagine we could become. And in becoming it, then we gain a new understanding and a new perspective of creation and all that is. But to be that expanded family, to be that extended family, to be that authentic family, to be that adventurous family, to be that extraordinary family, you must be the state of being of that family first. So come, join our family, and allow us to explore creation together in new and imaginative and startling ways beyond what you can presently conceive. Be your extraordinary selves. Don't hold back. Don't hold back. Don't hold back. If anything, hold forward.
All right, I'll say, how are you all this day of your time as you create time to exist? Allow us to begin with an interaction on the idea of miracles. You may use that as your title if you wish. In this way, recognize that what you often consider in your civilization to be miracles, you consider to be out of the ordinary, above and beyond the mainstream reality that you are used to experiencing in your day-to-day world. But recognize what you typically call a miracle is, in actual fact, a recognition of the fundamental workings of the universe. It is a recognition of when reality, physical reality, the experience of physical reality as you have come to know it, is actually working in synchronous harmony with all other levels of reality. And thus, a miracle is actually representative of when the universe is working most naturally. Physical reality, the day-to-day events that you typically experience that seem to be different from what you call miraculous, that, in a sense, is even more of a miracle than a typical miracle, as you call it. For a typical miracle is an indication of the natural state of the universe when everything works hand in hand, absolutely flawlessly, and can create whatever manifestation is indicative of the way the minds and the hearts and the beliefs of the individuals involved in that circumstance wish it to be. Whereas what you call your day-to-day life is the product of divergence, many times, from the so-called natural awareness or natural state of creation, natural state of reality. And in that sense, the things that you most often take for granted are actually the exception to the norm. In that sense, the way you have structured your reality, all of the different diversifications, separations, and specific endeavors that you create in your day-to-day lives, those are the miraculous manifestations of the foundational energy. Your daily life is therefore miraculous. And when you see in your lives what you normally call a miracle, when all of the normal, what you think of as normal activities that go on are for a moment seemingly suspended to allow this so-called miracle to occur, in actual fact what you are seeing therefore is the very fundamentals, the homogeneous, balanced, natural energy that everything in your daily lives is created from. You follow along? Therefore, recognize that your lives at any given moment are made of magic, if you will, are miraculous in that way. And that what you typically call a miracle is not something that is an interruption. in what you think is the natural or normal way that life exists, but it is actually a manifestation of naturalness, a manifestation of the basic root, foundational energy out of which all of the divergences in your daily life are created. A miracle is a calm spot, the eye of the hurricane, as you say, wherein you allow all the different energies, the homogeneous energy of the foundational creation itself, to simply work in its purest form. When you know in that state that everything does fit in with everything else, everything does work in life, and a miracle is simply your willingness to allow on all levels, all at once, life and the universe to work in the way it was designed to work. So if you wish your life to become, as you think, more miraculous, and for life to become more and more effortless expression of that level of creativity, then all you need to do is allow your life to revert back to its natural state, to the zero rest balance point, to allow the things in your life to be there that need to be there, rather than thinking you must make or force or push those ideas into creation. Desire, determination, those are tools that can allow you to allow your reality to work, but desire and determination do not have to be expressed in a struggle type of mode. Desire is the activation key that will bring to you anything you believe to be possible to experience in your life. And when you allow your desire, your excitement, which is your indication of your connection to the primal energy out of which all is created, when you allow your desire to bring those things into your life, then your life will be effortless, will be miraculous, day to day to day. You follow along? At this time, therefore, we will communicate in the mode we call sharing.
Yes, we have a documentary being filmed tonight.
Yes.
We have a lady who's going to
Welcome.
Thank you very much. I have a couple of questions. They're not exactly on the subject you're talking on, but...
Does not have to be, never has to be.
All right, good. It has been predicted by Leah that in March of '87 there will be a profound change in our economy. Do you agree? And is this change for the better or for the worse?
The idea of what you would call approximately March 15th to March 17th will be a very strong energy gate wherein many transformations can take place. Some aspects of what you call your sociological structures, your economic societies, may discover new principles that will allow different manifestations of interrelationships to begin to be laid down upon your planet. Any transformation can be experienced and expressed in a positive and or a negative way. Which way it manifests depends upon the attitudes and perspectives of the individuals involved. So it is up to you as to how it will manifest. But that time frame is a very strong transformational energy gate. Yes.
Thank you. The other question is, we're doing this documentary for public awareness. Do you have anything to say regarding this?
First of all, that you are also doing it because of the public awareness that already exists. So recognize that anything you find manifesting in your reality not only goes towards reinforcing the ideas that you can do, but is also a reflection of the ideas you have already become. So first and foremost, what we will say is to extend from us an appreciation and a thank you to your civilization for being willing to come to the point in its conscious conception of itself wherein it is willing to discuss these ideas and expand in many different ways. The exploration of your consciousness will be discovered to be the key to any idea you wish to understand within the living of your life. And that fundamentally, what we will share with you is that the only fundamental process truly necessary for you to understand anything you wish to understand about life is to simply live the life you are living. And in that true and full living and expressing yourself according to the trueness of what you know to be representative of the energy each and every one of you are, you will, in living that life, discover everything you need to know about the life you are living. For again, the universe does not do extraneous and pointless things. Everything works, and there is a reason for everything. Explore and expand your curiosity. Become fascinated with the interplay of all ideas as they interact and interrelate, and you will discover that everything is an orchestration, and a flawless one at that.
Bashar, thank you very much.
We thank you for your endeavor. We thank you for your sharing and your willingness to participate and create an opportunity for others to participate in the growing expansion of awareness, of remembering that you are all made in the image of the infinite creator, and what that means is you are all infinite creators. We thank you.
All right.
Sharing!
Bashar,
Ace!
a couple of weeks ago in the Times there was an article that the scientists had found 2 giant arcs. Could you care to comment? Would you care to comment on, tell us a little bit about that?
We can disperse but a little bit of information. What you are perceiving as the arcs are specific compactions of the gravitational dynamic tensor fields of the physical universe that have undergone what you would call vast implosive energy. You are seeing the spin-off or cast-off remnants from the implosion of one portion of this physical universe into and through a gateway of another physical universe. Thus, the energies released are quite a bit higher in magnitude than anything you have discovered around your localized area. For in that area, therefore, you are seeing, let us say, to be colloquial in your language, the breach, the gate, the doorway from one universe to another, and the after effects of that implosion, of the creation of that gate, a very powerful gate. These arcs, therefore, are representative of how space-time itself has become, as you say, warped or twisted, representative of the motion or the eddies or the currents now involved in that.
Is there anything you would care to tell us in regards to denial?
Denial. Denial in this way is again the belief, the inherent ingrained belief that there might be something in your life that you might come across that would not be able to serve you. But when you recognize that everything happens for a reason, then you will know that anything that happens in your life can be used to add to the overall understanding of yourself in a positive way and allow you to expand and accelerate in growth. Therefore, denial is simply the belief in your lack of completeness, in your lack of ability to utilize in a positive way, anything that could occur in your life. It is a fear that there is something within you that is beyond your control, that may get out of hand, as you say. It is only a fear. It is only the result of the fact that your society has been taught that you are not in control of your life. Therefore, you do not allow yourselves to be aware of why the things that occur in your life do occur. And so because you think that to learn more about them will actually place you in greater lack of control, you many times will refuse to explore them, feeling safe and secure just where you are. Not realizing that the more you explore those things, the more you will have to add to your overall understanding of yourself, and the more stable you will actually become. Does that assist you?
Yes, very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sharing.
Bashar,
Ace.
in working with the Lazarus tape that you mentioned to us a couple of months back,
Ace.
Secrets of Manifesting What You Want,
Nice.
in cleaning up the tools to use for manifestation,
Yes.
I find it difficult to find out what my payoffs are, and my blocks are quite large.
If you say so.
I wonder if you can shed some light on what.
Why do you believe your blocks are large? And first and foremost, what is your definition of a block?
The denial that I have a payoff for a negative action in my life.
Denial that you have a payoff for a
Yes.
negative action. Would you clarify that, please?
Okay, I'm exhibiting lack.
You are exhibiting lack?
Yes, I don't have the kind of car that I want and the money that I want to do the things that I want. And I don't know, he says find out what your payoff is, and I can't imagine why I want to do this.
All right, perhaps one suggestion, only a suggestion, to allow you to discontinue looking at it as a lack and focus on the things you already have so that you know you already are abundant in one way and that you can be abundant in other ways, rather than assuming that you lack anything. Because if you are approaching it from that end, that point of view, then you are only reinforcing the idea that you are not abundant, that you lack something. Approach it from the point of view that you already are abundant in whatever ways you have needed to be abundant, and that you can be abundant in other ways, more expanded ways, rather than assuming that just because you are not right now abundant in a particular way means that you lack abundance at all. You follow me? So examine the other end of your tool as well.
Okay.
Now, it also does not necessarily have to be that complex. It may be as simple as you simply have the habit of generating that particular type of scenario. Whether or not there is any particular quote-unquote payoff, whether you actually have an ingrained belief that you need to suffer, you may simply be in the habit of generating the reality the way you are generating it.
Yes.
So, allow yourself to know that you are in the process of creating new habits now. And that it is not necessarily so that you have to dig and scrape for this deep, dark secret you are holding from yourself.
Beautiful.
You follow
Thank
me?
you. Yes, I do.
If it is that difficult to find a payoff, maybe that's an indication that there really isn't one.
I love it. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So lighten up upon yourself. And when you use the tools that the tape suggests in order to sculpt a new reality, use a light touch as well. It is only the novice that applies undue pressure and very often snaps the tool. You follow me?
Yes, I do.
You do not have to dig quite so hard.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bashar.
Sharing.
Hi, Bashar.
Hi.
I bought a little toy today. It's a tuning fork. And,
Nice. Do you like the way it moves you?
Oh, very exciting. Very, very, very exciting. And I bought a little pitch pipe, too. And just while I was sitting here, I was thinking if there was different notes. Because now I'm interested in using it to heal, possibly.
Yes.
And
Then you can simply ask any other individual to stop you when you hit the note that moves them. And that's the vibration you can work with them on. You follow me?
Yeah.
Whatever strikes a chord within them will be the key that unlocks them from the reality that they have lived in before and will allow them to now manifest the reality they prefer. So simply test it out with any individual you are interacting with. Which one do you like? This one, this one, this one. Oh, that one? All right. Then that will be the key one. When you hear this, therefore, if this is the one that truly strikes a chord within you, you will know that when we play this note, you will be at your absolute most malleable, most open, most receptive, most willing to create the reality you desire. This will be your support field. And a support field it literally will be. You will generate the tonality, and that tonality, the vibrations themselves, will function in much the same way as the energy fields around our spacecraft, and will, in a sense, isolate that individual from all of the reality habits that they have previously been manifesting, and will give them the opportunity to lock into new ideas. You follow me?
Yes.
It is like suspending them in a type of fluid, surrounding them with that sound.
Okay, so there's not one or any different note that's good for a certain,
The individuals
type of-
will let you know.
for whatever it is, whatever note.
Yes,
And,
every individual is different, and they are different at different times.
Can I use this like over a body instead of just by the ears?
Yes. Oh, yes. Especially over the solar plexus. Especially.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Chatting.
Bashar,
Ace.
I talked to you, the first time I talked to you was about headaches I was getting.
Ace.
They're more consistent now. They're about every other day. And you said it had something to do with gravitational shifts on the planet.
To some degree.
Could
Your
you-
sensitivity to electromagnetic shifts.
Okay. I was just curious about that. The other thing was, when I was about 3, I was playing with a ball in our living room, and the ball rolled under our couch, and I got our maid to get the ball for me, and while she was, I happened to look behind me, and through the curtain appeared a figure, a very tall...
Stop.
Okay.
Are you doing in your life what you wish to be doing?
I think so. On one hand I am, and yes, I'm
Which is?
researching more into myself.
In
and
what way?
others, spiritually, body-wise, how it all...
How will you use this knowledge
That-
physically?
Probably to improve myself and my life and those around me.
How? What methodology
I don't
is
know.
most exciting to you?
I don't know. I'm researching quite a few different ones.
All right. Which one has already been most exciting to you? Which one stands out the strongest now, so far?
That has helped me the most.
The one you wish to exemplify, the way you wish to put into action what you have learned. How do you wish to share what you are learning?
Well,
How do you wish to be of service?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
I do.
Yes.
Okay.
When you allow yourself to know that you do, many of these headaches will cease entirely. For you are receiving communication.
I know I am.
Yes.
And I'm aware that I have been.
All right.
I dream all the time.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, I had a dream about you last night.
Yes.
Going to Germany, I think it is. By the way, do you plan to go to Germany?
I plan nothing.
Okay.
Now, the idea is that you are highly receptive, as we have said, to these electromagnetic pulses.
Right.
And they are being used to communicate with you.
Okay.
But the idea of the headache only comes because you are, to some degree, hesitating and resisting letting yourself express it in the way you know would be most joyous. You are analyzing the ways a little bit so strongly that you are not truly allowing yourself to give full fruition, full embodiment, and full expression to the way you truly do desire to express it, because you want to be very careful in your mind. You are being cautious, but to some degree you are being overly cautious. And this resistance and this hesitation is allowing this energy communication to back up within you and creating the sense of pressure.
Oh.
When you are more willing to let it out, let it through, trust your instincts rather than having to rely so much on your analysis process, then you will allow, like a valve, some of the steam out. You follow me?
I think so. I'm just not certain when it...
When it will be correct?
There I go again, right?
Yes. Now,
Right.
right now, let's use your imagination. Right now.
Okay.
Let's open those gateways up a little bit. Don't worry, it won't hurt. Allow yourself now to imagine, even if your conscious mind thinks this is only a game, that's all right. Play along. Imagine right now, at least one way. It does not have to be the absolute, idealized, ultimate, end-all, be-all way you could ever come up with. Right now, imagine one way that you would feel happy in expressing what you are learning. One way that you would feel most light and joyous in sharing and being of service with what you are learning. One way, one idea.
Speaking with others.
All right. Are you already doing this?
Yes.
To what extent?
A little.
All right. When you find individuals, in other words, who are interested, you simply share ideas with them, yes?
Yes.
All right. The knowledge you are learning, how else do you imagine it can be applied?
Other than speaking with others, I don't know. That's where I don't know. At this point, that's not what's arrived yet. I don't know.
All right. When it does arrive, how do you imagine it will arrive?
I'll know.
Yes, you will. Now, is it all right for you to know that when it happens?
Yes.
Is it all right for you to not necessarily consciously know it now?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Maybe I'm at the point where it's about ready to arrive, and I sense it. And
of the patterns, to some degree, is an indication of a cohesion, of a crystallization.
okay,
So yes, you are on a threshold right now.
right.
Will you do me a favor?
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Will you take 3 slow, deep breaths? Not fast, slow.
Okay.
In so doing, did any, even the most abstract type of image come to you at all?
Just me.
Just you.
Just me.
Just you. Very good. You, unto yourself, are absolutely self-contained. And all of the knowledge you are discovering already exists within you. All of the communication you are having, whether or not it is connecting to what you might typically call other consciousness or not, also comes from you. Allow yourself to recognize, therefore, that right now you are complete. And whatever definition of that completeness you choose to have will determine the rate and timing in which you will manifest your unique expression of that completeness. You yourself is all you need. You yourself, in that sense, is all you have. But it is all you need. So in your search, in your research, allow yourself to recognize that there was you at the beginning, and no matter what or whom you connect up to or with in your research, there will only be you at the end, so to speak, the end. And when, instead of a search, it becomes an expression, then the energy will flow. For research is creating an echo inwardly. And the, in a sense, headache are a reflection of that echo. When you let it out, then you will be channeling through yourself rather than allowing it to bottle up and channel back into yourself, constantly researching for that part of yourself you think you do not yet contain. You contain it. When you let it out, that is when you will discover it has been there all along, and you will no longer need to search and research. You follow me?
Yes.
You know what you need to know when you need to know it, yes. And at the same time, everything you need to know to be anything you wish to be, you know right now. Anything that you can conceive of being at all right now, because you have the ability to conceive of being that idea, even the slightest notion of that idea, you contain all the tools necessary right now to be that idea, because having that idea is an indication that you do have the tools for that level already.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. More and continuous pleasant dreams to you.
Thank you.
And the breathing will also energize, balance, and alleviate a great deal of the pressure. So breathe. Meditate, breathe. Slowly, fully. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, we would like to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank each and every one of you, and all of you together collectively, who are participating in the co-creation of this transmission. Once again, each and every time you are willing to participate in this kind of communication, it forms not only a link and a bridge between your world, your frequency, your dimension, your reality, and ours, but also by creating such a link, it creates a new dimension, a new reality, a new vibration that will grow and change and become a space, become a reality in which we can one day both interact more and more directly. So we thank you for the co-creation of this new space, of this new reality in which we all shall together participate. Let us begin this day of your time, this transmission, by calling this communication permission slips. Let us talk about permission slips. What are permission slips? Well, the idea we would like to share with you this day of your time is that many times we hear in conversations with many of you questions and discussions of different kinds of tools, rituals, books, information. And we are often asked, does this tool work? What about this ritual? What is the best way to do this? What is the best way to do that? Now, we have often discussed, of course, the notion that for each and every one of you individually, because each and every one of you is a distinct signature vibration, that obviously whatever tool, ritual, idea, information you attract to yourself is, by definition, at that moment, the one that will work best for you. Because it is keyed, it is matched to your frequency. That's why you attracted it. So even if the very next day you attract something different, if it is that attraction, the product of the change in your frequency, and you trust the synchronicity of your life having brought that to you, then even if it is different than what you were doing the day before, it is at that moment the perfect tool for you, because you attracted it with your frequency, like vibration to like vibration. But in talking about all of these different techniques, tools, rituals, meditations, books, information, what have you, there is something very important to understand about all these things. Be they ideas or artifacts, doesn't matter. What they really simply are permission slips that you give to yourself to be who you are. The power does not exist in those objects, in those rituals. No real effect per se comes from them. Now, we understand, of course, that in physical reality, when something is crystallized in a physical way, of course it has its own attributes. Such things as crystals are obviously representative of certain kinds of energy patterns, yes. But nevertheless, the point is that regardless of what attribute the object or idea or technique or tool itself may have inherently, the idea is that it still doesn't really create any effect within you or do anything for you unless you choose to match the frequency of the idea it symbolizes for you. So you are generating the effect yourself out of your own energy. But what you are doing is you are relying on your belief system, which sometimes can be unconscious, to attract to you the symbol that best reflects the vibration within you, that will allow you permission to be yourself. We understand that many times some of the belief systems and ideas and definitions that you are brought up believing in on your planet will create certain notions and patterns within you that makes it seem as if you do not have the ability to be who you say you wish to be. That there are obstacles or challenges in your way that seem to prevent you sometimes, as we hear it from you, from really becoming the full person you wish to be, from really having the full passionate life you wish to have. This is not empirically true, but we understand that if you have a belief system that says it is that way, then for you it is true. Because even though there is no real empirical physical reality, your experience of physical reality is real. That is the only thing that is real. Experience is the reality, not the reality you think you're experiencing, just the experience itself. And when you gravitate toward, attract yourself to, or attract to you some particular idea of information, some particular technique of delivery, even including this idea of channeling, or some object such as a crystal or some book or some ritual or some meditation, all of those things are just a portion of yourself writing you a permission slip to let you finally be in a space that's safe for you to really express your abilities, to be more of who you are. The things themselves do nothing for you. You are doing it all. But if you feel you need an excuse to do it, a permission slip from the universe to do it, then that's what all of these tools and techniques are for. You attract what reflects the belief system within you that makes it seem as if the technique is giving you the ability to do what you want to do, but you're simply giving it to yourself. You are giving yourself permission through the symbol to be more of who you are. So please remember that when and if, at any time, you have a question in your head, what technique is the best for this? What tool should I use? All the things you're ever going to find, all the things you're ever going to have recommended to you, all the things you're ever going to be attracted to are really nothing more than a variation of a permission slip that you are giving to yourself to reveal to yourself, through the particular symbology of that slip, what kind of pattern exists, or what kind of belief system exists, or what kind of definition exists within your consciousness. And in knowing that, in going into the ritual, in using the tool or the technique with that in mind, you can empower yourself that much more rapidly, that much more powerfully, that much more thoroughly by recognizing that even though you may feel at this moment that you need that tool, need that technique in order to have what you want, in order to be who you wish to be, you can then now at this point understand it is you simply doing this by having given yourself permission to let it be all right in some kind of context that your belief system can relate to, so that you will remove any reason not to be yourself. Now, ultimately, you will understand that if this is what these things are, if they are nothing but permission slips, then certainly, as you grow, as you learn, as you expand, you will realize that any technique, any tool will work, will do the same thing, that they're all valid in that context, they're all equal, one is not better than another, and in general, you will also arrive at a point where you will realize that you don't really need them to simply make a change within yourself just because that's what you wish to do. You will simply shortcut the process, not need the technique, not need the tool. You will simply say, well, I'll just choose. I will just choose to be that way. I will just choose to be that state of being. I don't need any other tool, any other technique, other than the recognition that what I choose will be so. What I choose is up to me. And if I wish to attract a technique or tool to myself because I feel it is fun, because I feel it will give me a reason to do what I wish to do, be who I wish to be, well, all well and good, so be it. But knowing that will eventually eliminate the need for the tool itself. Because you are the primary tool, you are the primary technique. Now, we are going to cover more of the ideas I'm about to speak about in what you call tomorrow's transmission as well. But we're going to lay some foundations here and now for that. The next thing we would like to bring up in connection and in conjunction with this idea of permission slips is how to allow this concept to sink in more deeply and how to form a relationship more clearly and more consciously with what many of you have for a long time called your higher self. This mysterious higher self. Where is it? Don't know. Is he up there? Is she over there? Don't know. How high? This high? This high? Don't know. What is the higher self? Thank you. Let's address this. So you have some definitions to work with, which again are nothing but what? Permission slips. That's all we're delivering here. Everything we say, everything we deliver to you is nothing but another form of permission slip. Take which one works for you. The ones that don't work for you, let them be. Now, let's go into a little bit more detail. Higher self. All right. Most of you are familiar with the idea that you have a physical consciousness, a personality as a physical being that you relate to as yourself, so to speak. But then there is this mysterious idea of the higher self. Simply put, most of you understand, or at least intuit, that the so-called higher self, well, is relatively non-physical. Even more simply put, you could say that there is a vibrational frequency just above physical reality, just beyond physical reality, in which resides what you might refer to as a template for physical reality, or upon which you construct your physical experience. It is in that template level, just beyond the physical threshold, that the higher self exists. Now, please do not confuse the idea of higher self with oversoul or spirit or what have you. Higher self is a specific idea that is like a version of the person you are in physical reality, but a version that has a broader perspective, a broader point of view. It's like having a twin standing on a mountaintop while one is also standing in the valley. And they can communicate with each other. And the higher self can say, I see you walking down the road, and I see that there is, well, a little bit of a ditch up ahead, so if you walk this way and walk that way, you'll avoid it. And the one in the valley going, oh, thank you very much. This is, very simply put, the relationship between the two. It is you with a higher perspective, a broader perspective, a bigger picture, without the complications that can arise from the personality construct's belief system. So the higher self is like a guiding principle, a governing principle, so to speak, that is a part of your complex as a person, but is the non-physical component that acts as the conduit to even higher versions of your soul, of your being, of your spirit, but also acts as the intermediary between those higher levels and the physical personality construct, and can distill information from the higher spirit and soul over soul levels in a way that your personality can understand. So the higher self functions like a translator, taking the information from the higher levels and bringing it down to earth in a way that can communicate to the personality effectively. However, because of some of the belief systems that exist within the personality structure on your planet, there has been confusion as to exactly how to form a clear communication line to the higher self. So let's make something very, very clear. This may sound a little bit surprising, but that's all right. Surprises are good. There are 3 levels here in this idea. It might surprise you to know, as personality constructs, as physical minds, you do not conceive of any ideas. What do I mean? The personality does not conceive of concepts. It perceives concepts. It does not conceive them. Here are the 3 levels. The higher self conceives. The physical brain receives. The personality mind perceives. That's all it does. Any idea, any inspiration, any imagination you have ever had doesn't come from the physical mind portion of you. It comes from the higher self portion of you, through the receiver, the brain, and is translated by the brain into a vibration that the physical mind then perceives as a reflected reality. One more time, because this is crucial to understand. You don't conceive of any ideas as a physical mind. That's not what the physical mind is designed to do. It cannot create ideas. It can only perceive the result of an idea from the higher self. Now, this may sound at first somewhat limiting, but in fact, it's very, very freeing, because you can all stop thinking. You can all stop thinking you're in charge. You can all stop thinking you have to think of everything. You can all stop thinking that you're the one guiding the ship. You're not. You are just looking at the road. You're just experiencing the path that you, the whole you, is creating. But the reason you get into trouble, the reason you feel stuck as a physical mind, is because you've been taught to believe that the physical mind is the one coming up with all this stuff. And it's not. So when you try to manipulate it, it doesn't work, because the physical mind is not designed to actually create those concepts. It is only designed to perceive the effect of the creation of those concepts through the receiver, the physical brain. Now, here's also what happens. And again, this is an important distinction. Physical mind cannot perceive how something happens. It can only perceive how something happened. One more time. It's a very important distinction, and I'll explain. Physical mind does not have the capacity to perceive how something happens. It can only perceive how something happened. But because the physical mind thinks it's coming up with these things, it then takes what happened and assumes that that's how things happen. And it's not. It's only what happened that time. And it thinks, well, if I do that again, I can make this happen, I can make that happen. No. You might get some degree of repetitional success with that philosophy, but it will never go beyond the parameters of what you observed in that particular happenstance. Because what happened was designed to allow that particular thing to happen. And that particular thing doesn't necessarily require the same ingredients as something else. So when you may want something else to happen, when you may want to expand on what happened, you cannot use the same ingredients that made that happen, because then all you'll do is repeat the cycle and wonder why you're not getting anywhere. You have to allow the connection to your own higher self to be the one that will allow you to experience the reality that comes from the higher self, because the higher self is the only part of you that actually knows how things happen, because it's on the mountaintop. It has the broader perspective. It can see what's coming. It can orchestrate. You're in the valley as a physical being. From the physical perspective, your view is somewhat limited. But the idea is it doesn't matter. As we will discuss and point out, and as many of you have heard in The Secret, all you really need to do, to use the analogy they use of driving your car, is see the road just a few hundred feet ahead. You don't have to see the road all the way from your beginning to your destination. That's the higher self's point of view. So you don't have to know exactly how you're going to get there. All you need to know as the physical side of the personality mind is where you're at right now. The higher self will tell you, keep going. Turn left. Turn right. You're going to get there quicker this way. You're going to get there quicker that way. You need to stop for now. You need to take a rest. You need to take a bathroom break. Then get back in your car and keep going. That comes from the higher self portion of the total being that you are as a person, as a persona. But the physical mind aspect of the personality does not have the capacity to understand how things happen. So, stop trying to figure it out, because you never will as a physical person. Only as a higher self expression, when you are in communication and allowing that communication to occur, will you then be able to take advantage of knowing how it's going to happen, but the physical mind will not know how it's going to happen. This is using the invisible to your advantage. And this is why you talk about such things as, well, you just have to take it on faith. No, you don't. It's really about knowing and understanding the nature of your actual existence, understanding the structure of the relationship, understanding how it is you have arranged yourself as a consciousness, and then simply using it in the same way that you use a telephone, a light switch, or any other device. It's simply a matter of understanding the nature of it, and then taking advantage of using the nature of it, and using the power of the invisible, because it's very, very solid. Just because your physical mind can't perceive it, can't perceive the how of it, and how this is all happening, doesn't mean it cannot receive the benefit of how it's all happening. But in order to really do that as fully as you possibly can, you must drop the assertion and the assumption that the physical mind needs to know how everything works. Because it never, ever will. It's not designed to. And this allows you to lighten up your load, stop carrying so much baggage, stop trying to do your higher self's job, and just do your own. That's why so many of you are so tired when you are trying to do certain things in a certain way. It's because you're trying to do a job you weren't designed to do. That's exhausting. Stop. You were not hired to do that job. Your higher self already has the job, and it's working for you perfectly. Work with it. Work with it, not against it, by trying to do the job it was designed to do. Just do the job you were designed to do, which is perceive what has happened and allow yourself to know that what has happened can be used by you to your advantage by maintaining positive meaning from your belief system into it. Allowing yourself to do that as physical mind is what will keep the communication lines open. Acting on your passion, acting on your excitement, always putting positive meaning into whatever happens is what will keep the lines open to your higher self to receive the communication, to know that you can take the next step, and the next step, and the next step, and the next step, because whatever it is that does happen will always allow you to take the next step. No matter what it is, as long as you relate to it in the appropriate way as a physical mind, and don't attempt to relate to it in an inappropriate way as a higher mind yourself. Let the higher mind come through you and relate to it, but don't try to do the higher mind's job for it. It will always, always be difficult for you to do because you're not designed to do that. So again, higher self conceives. Physical brain receives. Physical mind perceives. That's it. That is the totality of your persona in physical reality, with this connection to the level just above, vibrationally just above, what you call solid and tangible reality. Now, of course, to your oversoul, to your spirit, the higher self is actually quite solid, quite physicalized, quite a bit more dense vibrationally than you are when you are on the higher spirit level, on the oversoul level. It is, again, just above what you call the frequency of physical reality. We will go into this, as we say, in more detail, in more depth, tomorrow of your time. Also, what we will go into in more depth and in more detail tomorrow of your time is the concept that we have talked about many times and you have heard from other places many times, but which we will now deliver in a different way. The concept of the difference between state of being and circumstances. And again, this ties into what we are saying. In a nutshell, as you say, the idea is to understand, as we have said in other ways, that circumstances do not determine your state of being. Your state of being determines your circumstances. Now, what's key here, though, is to understand once again that because of the way the personality mind has been taught to think of its job, it will often hear that statement as, oh, well then, if I get into this state of being, I will create circumstances that will be exactly reflective of what I prefer. And if I don't see those, something's wrong. This is what must be avoided, is the assumption that circumstances, that the appearance of circumstances mean anything. Again, remember, they are neutral. It's what you put into them from the state of being you choose to be in that determines the effect of the state of being of your life, the quality of who you are, the level of your passion. Not what the reflection looks like. So, taking this a step further, beyond the idea, beyond the mechanistic connective statement of it's not circumstances that determine your state of being, it's state of being that determines your circumstances, taking it a step further, you could actually help break that connection that doesn't serve you by restating this idea in a more definitive way. Circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. Circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. Now listen to the way that translates in your language. Circumstances don't matter. Don't materialize things. Only your state of being matters, materializes things. So, circumstances don't matter. Only, underline, 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 only your state of being matters. Big, fat, period. Exclamation point. Close quotes. Parentheses, brackets. Now, we will also, tomorrow of your time, in that transmission, explain in far more detail the whole idea of the energy of the transformation on your planet, the rate of acceleration, and the different gradients within it. As we now approach what we have, and many others have, labeled as the threshold crossing, your year of 2012, where the leading edge of your consciousness will have reached critical mass. And in crossing that threshold, then from that point forward, can allow more opportunity for positive creation to occur. We will, having said that, discuss in finer detail what we mean by this wave of energy that reaches critical mass, and the different gradients that go along in it, and the consequences of existing in each of those gradients, so that you can see more clearly, and you can choose more clearly, if you wish to, how to ride the front leading edge of that transformational consciousness wave, instead of simply bobbing up and down in some of the eddies and currents that follow along in its wake. Because that's what a lot of you are doing. Just bobbing around in the currents in the wake of the leading edge of the consciousness wave. But you can ride the leading edge if you wish. So, in that context, we will explain how to ride that wave. Surf's up. Now, all the things we have said, all the things we will say, all the things we are saying, come together now, in this moment, in this transmission. And once again, we thank you for the opportunity to share this perspective with you. We now ask you, if you wish, to open up to sharing and more direct interaction with what you call your questions and discussions